Every pilot knows one rule: evidence never lies. Captain Thomas Blake thought he could make evidence disappear, and today on Flight 556 at 35,000 feet, he's about to learn that deleting a file doesn't mean it's gone. Because the flight attendant whose reports he just erased, she already sent them with timestamps, cloud backups, regulatory email receipts, and in the next 3 hours when they land in Hong Kong, an investigator's board with printed copies of everything he tried to delete. Thomas Blake will learn that the digital generation doesn't lose data, they multiply it. It's 6:42 p.m. London Heathrow Airport, Terminal 5, Gate B38, the Boeing 777-300ER sits under evening lights. Flight 556 to Hong Kong, 11 hours 40 minutes, 310 passengers, aircraft registration G-STBF, ground crew completes final checks, catering loaded, fuel topped off, passengers gather at the gate, business travelers, families, students. The 777's twin engines promise smooth flight. Nobody knows what's about to unfold. Captain Thomas Blake walks through the terminal with calculated confidence. Late 40s, British, fair complexion, light brown hair neatly cut, receding slightly at the temples, clean shaven, gray-blue eyes that constantly assess and judge. Average build, soft around the middle, not athletic, comfortable. His 4 gold captain stripes gleam under terminal lights. Apple Watch Series 8 on his left wrist. He checks it constantly. Expensive Mont Blanc fountain pen visible in his shirt pocket. Reading glasses hang on a lanyard around his neck. Tablet tucked under his arm. Thomas Blake projects tech-savvy professionalism. Modern captain for a modern age. Except he's not as tech-savvy as he thinks. He's been flying for 22 years, 777 captain for 8. He knows procedures, knows systems, knows regulations, and he knows how to work around them. Thomas has mastered the art of appearing compliant while cutting corners, minor shortcuts, small violations, nothing dangerous enough to crash, just enough to save time, make schedules, impress management with efficiency. He's learned something else over the years: how to manage complaints, how to dismiss concerns, how to make problems disappear before they reach anyone important. He thinks documentation is his enemy. He's about to learn it's worse than that. He reaches the gate, scans his boarding pass on his Apple Watch, very modern, very efficient, boards first. Walks through the cabin, nodding at passengers, climbs the stairs to the upper deck cockpit. First Officer Rachel Morrison is already there. Young, 30s, sharp, British. She greets him professionally. He returns it with practiced charm, settles into the left seat, pulls out his tablet, begins pre-flight checks. The cockpit is immaculate. Screens glow. Systems hum. Everything appears perfect. But there's something Thomas does that Rachel doesn't see. He opens the airline's internal safety reporting app on his tablet, checks for new reports filed about him. There are 3 from the last month, minor complaints. Crew concerns about his procedures. He reads them, smirks, deletes them from the system. Easy, nobody notices. Problem solved. What Thomas doesn't know is that the airline's IT system automatically backs up every report to a regulatory database before it can be deleted. His deletions are logged, time-stamped, recorded. He thinks he's erasing evidence. He's actually creating more. Zara Kim stands in the main deck forward galley, late 20s, Korean, light East Asian complexion, black hair, sleek and professional, styled in an elegant half-up clip. Dark brown eyes that miss absolutely nothing. Petite build, fit, youthful energy balanced with professional maturity. Burgundy red uniform with navy blue accents fitting perfectly. 4 gold service pins on her chest. Impressive for someone only 5 years into the job. Samsung Galaxy Watch on her wrist. Smartphone visible in her uniform pocket. Tablet holder clipped to her belt. Wireless earbuds case tucked away. Zara Kim is a digital native. Born in 1998, grew up with smartphones, learned to document everything before she could drive. She doesn't just understand technology, she lives it. Before becoming a flight attendant, Zara studied computer science at Imperial College London. 2 years, dropped out to travel. wanted to see the world, joined the airline at 22, excelled immediately, not just at service, at systems, at procedures, at documentation. She knows every regulation, every protocol, every reporting requirement, and she knows something else. She knows that in 2026, data is permanent. Cloud storage is everywhere. Screenshots are instant. Email forwarding is automatic. Delete buttons are theater. Once something exists digitally, it exists forever, somewhere. Backed up, time-stamped, retrievable. She's flown with Thomas Blake 4 times before. Notice things, small violations, shortcuts during taxi, skipped checklist items, pressure on crew to work faster, dismissal of safety concerns, nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just patterns. And Zara documents patterns. She has a system. When she notices something, she logs it. Time, location, witness names, details, screenshots, photos if appropriate. Then she uploads everything to 3 places: her personal encrypted cloud storage, her airline email with proper keywords for archival, and a secure backup with a friend who works in aviation safety consulting. Zara doesn't trust single points of failure. She doesn't trust delete buttons. She trusts redundancy. The cabin fills, passengers settle, overhead bins close, flight attendants perform safety demonstrations. Zara moves through her duties with practiced efficiency. She's worked with Thomas 3 times in the last 2 months. Each time she's noticed issues, each time she's documented them, each time she's filed reports through the proper airline channels, and each time her reports have mysteriously disappeared from the system within 48 hours. She finds this interesting, not concerning, interesting. Because Zara knows something Thomas doesn't. She knows those reports don't just exist in the airline system, they exist in her cloud backup, in her email archive, in regulatory databases that auto-receive duplicates. Thomas has been deleting the visible copies. The invisible copies are piling up. Pre-flight briefing, forward galley. Thomas summons senior cabin crew. Zara attends as lead on main deck. He runs through standard items: flight time, service schedule, weather, routine, professional. Then he adds something else. His voice stays pleasant, almost casual. One more thing. I've noticed some crew members have been filing excessive safety reports lately. Minor issues. Non-issues really. It creates unnecessary paperwork, clogs the system. If you have concerns, bring them to me directly first. We'll handle them informally. No need to involve the bureaucracy unless it's genuinely serious. The other flight attendants nod. Seems reasonable. Zara says nothing, just watches. Takes a mental note. 6:54 p.m. Captain Blake discouraging safety reports. She'll document this after boarding completes. Thomas looks directly at Zara. That clear, Zara. She meets his gaze. Calm, professional. Crystal clear, Captain. Though just to confirm, we should still file reports for any safety concerns we observe. Correct. That's what the regulations require. Thomas's smile tightens. Of course, if it's genuinely a safety concern, I'm just saying, use judgment. Don't waste everyone's time with trivial matters. Understood. Zara's voice is neutral. Her face shows nothing. But behind those dark brown eyes, something clicks. He's specifically targeting her. He knows she's been filing reports. He thinks he can intimidate her into stopping. He's wrong. The briefing ends. Crew disperses. Thomas returns to the cockpit. Zara pulls out her phone, opens her secure notes app, types 1854 GMT. Captain Blake discouraged safety reporting and briefing. Witnesses: F.A. Morrison, F.A. Chen, F.A. Rodriguez. Direct quote, "Don't waste everyone's time with trivial matters." Context: following multiple reports I filed about his procedure shortcuts. She saves it. The note automatically syncs to her cloud storage. Timestamp locked, immutable. Pushback begins. Engines start. The 777 rumbles toward runway. 27L. Thomas handles controls smoothly. First Officer Morrison manages communications. Tower clears them. Takeoff clearance received. But during taxi, Zara notices something from her jump seat. Through the cockpit door, which is slightly ajar during taxi per protocol, she can see Thomas. He's using his tablet, not for flight management, for something else. She recognizes the interface, the airline safety reporting system. He's scrolling through something, then tapping, deleting gestures, her reports. He's deleting her reports during taxi. She can't see the screen clearly, but she knows the movements. Delete, confirm, next, delete, confirm. He's going through them systematically. Zara pulls out her phone, puts it in her lap, angles it toward the cockpit, opens the camera app, sets it to video. Doesn't point it obviously, just captures the angle. Records for 90 seconds. Thomas at the tablet during taxi. Deleting files. She stops recording, saves the video, uploads it immediately to her cloud storage, tags it, evidence. Blake deleting reports during taxi. 1908 GMT. Done, backed up, time-stamped. Even if someone takes her phone, the video exists elsewhere. Takeoff. The 777 accelerates down runway 27L rotation, liftoff. London falls away below, climb begins. Everything appears normal, professional, routine. But Zara is thinking. Thomas just deleted her reports. He thinks they're gone. They're not. Every report she filed was automatically forwarded to her personal email the moment she submitted it. That's standard airline procedure. Confirmation emails. Thomas deleted the reports from the visible system. The confirmation emails still exist in her inbox with full report text, with submission timestamps, with system-generated ticket numbers, immutable proof they were filed and deleted. She has something else too. Before filing any report through the official system, Zara has been sending copies directly to the UK Civil Aviation Authority's Confidential Safety Reporting System, CHIRP, Confidential Human Factors Incident Reporting Program. It's an independent organization. Thomas has no access to their database, no deletion capability. Every report she filed about him is sitting in CHIRP's system right now, time-stamped, backed up, beyond his reach. Thomas has been deleting evidence from one database while evidence multiplies in 3 others 30 minutes into the flight. 19:47 p.m. Cruise altitude 35,000 feet. The 777 settles into smooth flight. Alps below. Night falling. Thomas reviews the flight plan. Satisfied. First Officer Morrison handles navigation. The cockpit is calm. Thomas pulls out his tablet again, opens the safety reporting system, scrolls through looking for Zara's reports, finds none, smiles, problem solved. He thinks he's won. He has no idea what's coming. Zara moves through the main deck cabin, checks on passengers, smiles, professional. But she's not thinking about passenger service right now. She's thinking about timing, about evidence. About the moment Thomas realizes he deleted files that still exist everywhere else. That moment is coming. Soon. She just needs to wait for the right trigger. She needs him to make one more mistake, one more violation she can document, one more piece of evidence he'll try to delete. And then she'll reveal the truth, that in 2026, nothing digital truly disappears, and the flight attendant he's been dismissing is more tech literate than he'll ever be. 1 hour into the flight, 20:18 p.m. over Frankfurt. Thomas emerges from the cockpit, heads to the lavatory, returns, stops at the forward galley where Zara is preparing drinks, looks at her with those calculating gray-blue eyes. His voice is low, meant only for her. I noticed you've been quite active with safety reports lately. Multiple filings all about minor procedural items. Zara turns, meets his gaze steadily. Yes, Captain, I document everything I observe that doesn't align with procedures. That's what we're trained to do. Trained to use judgment, not to file reports about every trivial detail. With respect, Captain, what I've reported isn't trivial. Skipped checklist items, rushed taxi procedures, pressure on crew to expedite service during descent, these are all reportable items. Thomas's expression hardens. Those reports have been reviewed and closed, found to be without merit, non-issues. I haven't received any closure notifications, Zara says calmly. Usually the system sends automated emails when reports are resolved. Thomas leans closer, his voice drops, menacing now. The system does what it needs to do. Your reports have been handled properly, and I'd advise you to focus more on passenger service and less on playing safety inspector. You're a flight attendant, not a regulator. Zara holds his stare, doesn't blink. I'm a flight attendant who takes safety seriously, Captain. If that's a problem, perhaps you should discuss it with the chief pilot. Perhaps I will. Thomas straightens. But let me be clear, your little complaints mean nothing. They go nowhere. They disappear. Because I make sure they disappear. Keep filing them if you want. Waste your time. But no, they'll never reach anyone who matters. I've been doing this for 22 years. I know how to manage the system, and I know how to manage crew who don't know their place. He turns, walks back to the cockpit, leaves Zara standing there. She doesn't react visibly, doesn't show emotion, just stands there for 3 seconds. Then she pulls out her phone, opens her voice recorder app, realizes it's been running the entire time. She started it before he approached. Old habit. Document everything. She stops the recording, saves it. Blake confession, threats and admission of deleting reports 2022 GMT. Uploads to cloud, forwards to personal email, sends copy to her aviation safety consultant friend with message, "Listen to this. Evidence of document tampering by Captain. Thomas Blake just made his biggest mistake. He confessed to deleting safety reports." On recording, with witnesses nearby who heard raised voices, and the flight attendant he threatened has the evidence backed up in 4 different locations before he's even back in his seat. But he doesn't know that yet. Right now, he sits in his captain's seat, satisfied, in control. He deleted her reports. He intimidated her into silence. He thinks he's managed the problem. He thinks the evidence is gone. He's wrong. The evidence has multiplied, and in 8 hours, when this 777 lands in Hong Kong, and when the Civil Aviation Authority Representatives Board with printed copies of every report he deleted, with timestamps showing when they were deleted, with recordings of his threats, Thomas Blake will learn that you can't delete the cloud. You can only create more evidence of trying. 3 hours into the flight, 22:18 p.m. GMT. The 777 cruises over Poland, night sky, stars visible. Passengers settle, some sleep, some watch movies. Business class quiet, economy dimmed. Everything appears normal, professional, routine. But in the forward galley, Zara is building a case. She has her tablet out, reviewing her documentation. 6 reports filed about Thomas Blake over the last 2 months. 6 reports that disappeared from the airline system within 48 hours. She has proof of all 6. Email confirmations with full text, submission timestamps, system-generated ticket numbers, screenshots of the original submissions, and now recordings of Thomas admitting he deletes them, makes them disappear, his exact words. Documented, immutable. She opens her email, composes a new message. Recipient, UK Civil Aviation Authority Safety Investigation Division. Subject, Report of Safety Documentation. Tampering Flight 556, G-STBF. She attaches everything, the 6 original reports, the deletion log she pulled from her email confirmation showing the reports were submitted but never resolved, the video of Thomas using his tablet during taxi to delete files, the audio recording of his threats, timestamps for everything. She writes a brief summary, professional, factual, no emotion, just evidence. She reviews it once, twice, satisfied, but she doesn't send it yet, not yet. She's waiting for Thomas to make one more mistake, one more violation she can document in real time, one more piece of evidence that will make the case undeniable. She saves the email as a draft, syncs it to her cloud, ready to send the moment she needs to. Inside the cockpit, Thomas reviews fuel calculations, everything on schedule, weather ahead looks good, Hong Kong arrival on time, 6:24 a.m. local. He's thinking about Zara, about her persistence, about her reports. He handled it, deleted them, warned her. She'll stop now. She has to. She's young, 20-something, thinks she knows everything, thinks technology makes her powerful. She doesn't understand that experience wins, that rank matters, that he controls what gets reported and what disappears. He's been managing crew for years. She's just another flight attendant who'll learn her place or find another job. Either way, his problem is solved. What Thomas doesn't understand is that Zara isn't like the crew members he managed before. She's not intimidated by rank. She's not impressed by experience. She grew up in a world where information is power, where screenshots are reflexive, where cloud storage is automatic, where every message, every file, every recording exists in multiple places simultaneously. He's playing by 2005 rules, she's playing by 2026 rules, and 2026 rules win. 4 hours into the flight, 23:18 p.m., somewhere over Ukraine. Zara is serving drinks in business class when First Officer Rachel Morrison emerges from the cockpit, heads to the galley, looks uncomfortable, approaches Zara quietly. "Can I talk to you privately?" Zara follows her to the rear galley, empty, private. Rachel glances around, nervous. "I need to tell you something, but I need you to keep it between us." "Of course." Rachel takes a breath. "I know Captain Blake has been deleting safety reports. I've seen him do it on his tablet during flights. He thinks I don't notice, but I do. I've seen him go through the system, find reports filed by crew members, and delete them. He's been doing it for months." Zara keeps her face neutral. "Have you reported this?" "I wanted to, but he's my captain. He controls my schedule, my evaluations, my progression. If I report him and he finds out, my career is over. I know that sounds cowardly, but..." "It doesn't sound cowardly. It sounds realistic." Zara pauses. "But you're telling me now. Why?" Rachel meets her eyes. "Because I heard him threatening you earlier. His voice carried, and I know you've been filing reports about his procedures. Good reports, valid concerns. And I've watched him delete them. It's wrong. Someone needs to stop him. But I can't be the one. I can't risk it." "I understand." Zara thinks for a moment. "If I needed you to provide a statement confidentially to investigators, would you do it?" Rachel hesitates, then nods. "Yes, if it's confidential. If my name is protected, yes. That's all I need. Thank you for telling me." Zara pulls out her phone, opens her notes app. "Just so I have the details correct. You've personally witnessed Captain Blake deleting safety reports from his tablet during multiple flights?" "Yes, at least 6 times that I can remember. Different flights, different reports. Always the same pattern. He opens the safety reporting system, scrolls through, selects reports, deletes them, then closes the app like nothing happened." Zara types, documents, "And he does this during flights, while acting as pilot in command?" "Yes, usually during cruise, sometimes during taxi. He multitasks." "Thank you, Rachel. This stays between us, but if investigators contact you, please tell them exactly what you told me." Rachel nods, relief visible. "I will, I promise." She returns to the cockpit. Zara stays in the galley, updates her draft email to the CAA adds. First Officer Rachel Morrison willing to provide confidential statement confirming pattern of captain deleting safety reports during flight operations, contact information available upon request. She saves the draft again. The evidence is growing, multiplying. Thomas thinks he's eliminating problems. He's creating a paper trail 5 hours into the flight, 00:18 a.m. over Central Asia. Most passengers asleep, cabin lights low, flight attendants take breaks. Zara is in the crew rest area when she hears raised voices from the cockpit, muffled, angry. She moves closer, listens. Thomas and Rachel arguing about what? She can't make out words, just tone. Harsh, aggressive from Thomas, defensive from Rachel. The argument lasts 2 minutes, then silence. Rachel emerges, face flushed, eyes wet. She sees Zara, looks away quickly, heads to the lavatory. Zara waits. When Rachel returns, Zara approaches gently. "Are you okay?" Rachel shakes her head. "He knows I talked to you. I don't know how, but he knows. He just tore into me, told me to mind my own business, to focus on flying, to stop gossiping with cabin crew. He didn't say your name, but it was obvious. He's watching everything." "What did you tell him?" "Nothing. I denied everything, but he's suspicious. And now he's going to be even more careful, more controlling." Rachel's voice drops to whisper. "He just pulled out his tablet again, started going through the reporting system right there in the cockpit, looking for new reports, checking if anything was filed tonight. He's paranoid." Zara processes this. Thomas is getting desperate. Sloppy, paranoid, good. Desperate people make mistakes. Rachel, when he was using his tablet just now, were you able to see the screen? Bits of it. Why? Did you see him delete anything? Rachel thinks. I think so. He was tapping, swiping. The gestures looked like deleting, but I was focused on instruments. I can't be sure. That's fine, thank you. Zara returns to the forward galley, checks her own phone, opens the airline safety reporting app, logs in, submits a new report, real time. Flight 556-0023 GMT. Captain observed using personal tablet during cruise to access safety reporting database. First officer reports captain angry and confrontational regarding safety reporting procedures, creating hostile work environment, potential interference with reporting systems. She hits submit. The report uploads. Confirmation email arrives instantly in her inbox. She screenshots it, forwards it to her cloud storage, sends copy to her friend, and waits. She knows what's coming. In approximately 10 minutes, when Thomas checks the system again, he'll see her new report filed just now, tonight, during this flight, and he'll delete it right there in the cockpit, while Rachel watches, while Zara has documentation proving it was submitted, proving he deleted it. Real-time evidence of document tampering. She's baiting him, and she knows he'll take the bait. 15 minutes later, 00:38 a.m. Rachel emerges from the cockpit again, finds Zara. Her face is pale. He did it. I just watched him. He opened the reporting system, found a new report. I saw your name on it. He read it. His face went red. He deleted it right in front of me. Then he turned to me and said, "See? Problem solved." Like he wanted me to know, like he was proving a point. Thank you for telling me. Zara's voice is calm, but inside something clicks into place. She has him. Witness testimony, time-stamped deletion, proof the report was submitted, and proof it was deleted minutes later. She opens her draft email to the CAA, updates it. Additional evidence, new safety report filed 0:23 GMT tonight during Flight 556. Captain observed by first officer deleting report from system at approximately 00:38 Greenwich Mean Time, 15 minutes after submission. Report details captain's hostile behavior regarding safety reporting. Full documentation attached. She saves it. Still doesn't send. Not yet. One more piece. One more violation. Then she sends everything. And right then something unexpected happens. 6 hours into the flight, 1:18 a.m. over Western China, the 777 encounters light turbulence. Normal, expected flight attendant secure galley equipment, return to seats. Seatbelt sign illuminates, passengers stir, adjust belts. Nothing serious, just routine weather. But Zara notices something. The seatbelt sign turns off too quickly, way too quickly. They're still in turbulence. She can feel it, mild but present. The sign should stay on longer. She checks her watch. The sign was on for 4 minutes. Procedure requires minimum 10 minutes after turbulence begins or 5 minutes after turbulence ends. Whichever is longer, they're still in turbulence. The sign should be on. She pulls out her phone, opens the flight tracking app she uses, checks weather radar. They're approaching a turbulence zone, moderate intensity, expected to last another 15 minutes. The seatbelt sign should definitely be on. Why did Thomas turn it off? She moves to the forward galley, looks toward the cockpit. The door is closed, but she can see the flight deck through the peephole. Thomas is on his tablet again, not looking at weather, not looking at instruments, on his personal apps. He turned off the seatbelt sign so passengers could move around and so he could relax. Shortcut, time saver, minor violation, but violation nonetheless. Zara makes a decision, picks up the intercom phone, calls the cockpit. Rachel answers, "Yes?" "First officer, this is Zara. We're still experiencing light turbulence. Should the seatbelt sign be on?" Brief pause. Rachel checking instruments. "Yes, you're right. We're approaching a moderate zone. Sign should be on. Hold on." Muffled conversation. Thomas's voice raised, irritated. Then Rachel. "Captain says it's light and intermittent. Sign is off for passenger comfort. We'll monitor and turn it back on if needed." "Understood. Thank you." Zara hangs up, immediately opens her reporting app, files another report. Flight 556 121 GMT. Seatbelt sign turned off prematurely during continuous light turbulence. Weather radar shows moderate turbulence ahead. Sign off does not comply with minimum duration requirements per company SOP 7.3.4. Sign turned off after only 4 minutes despite ongoing turbulence. Submit. Confirmation email arrives, screenshot, forward, backup, done. She knows Thomas will see this report within minutes, and she knows he'll delete it. And she'll have proof he deleted a report filed during active flight operations about a real safety concern while the violation was still occurring. Undeniable evidence. 10 minutes pass, 1:31 a.m. The turbulence increases, moderate now. Passengers uncomfortable, overhead bins rattling. A passenger call button lights up, then another, then 5. Flight attendants move through cabin, reassure passengers. Yes, we've notified the captain seatbelt sign should be on soon, but it doesn't come on. Thomas is proving a point. He makes the decisions. Not some flight attendant, not some safety report. Him. First Officer Rachel Morrison tries again. Captain, we should turn the sign on. It's getting worse. Thomas's voice is sharp. I'm aware of the conditions. I'm flying this aircraft. The sign will go on when I decide. Captain, procedure requires... I know the procedures. Thomas's voice rises. I've been flying through turbulence for 22 years. I don't need a first officer or a flight attendant telling me when to turn on a light. Rachel goes silent. Zara hears this through the cockpit door, pulls out her phone. Voice recorder already running. Catches the end of the exchange. More evidence. Thomas undermining crew, ignoring procedures, getting aggressive, losing control. The turbulence intensifies. Moderate becomes moderate severe. The 777 bumps. Drops, recovers, passengers gasp, someone screams, a flight attendant stumbles, catches herself. Finally, the seatbelt sign illuminates. 1:34 a.m., too late. The turbulence was obvious 13 minutes ago. Procedure violation is documented, recorded, witnessed by entire crew and 310 passengers. Zara adds a supplemental report. Flight 556 134 GMT. Seatbelt sign finally activated after turbulence reached moderate severe intensity. Delay of 13 minutes from initial turbulence encounter. Multiple passengers and one crew member nearly injured. Captain refused first officer's request to activate sign earlier. Hostile response documented. Submit, save, forward, backup. She opens her draft email to the CAA. Adds this latest evidence. 3 reports filed tonight, all showing violations, all about to be deleted by Thomas, all backed up in multiple locations. The case is complete, overwhelming, undeniable, but she still doesn't send it. She's waiting for one specific moment, the moment when Thomas thinks he's won, when he's deleted every report, when he thinks the evidence is gone. That's when she'll reveal it still exists everywhere. That's when she'll send the email with every deleted report, every recording, every timestamp, every witness statement. That's when Thomas Blake learns that in 2026, delete buttons are fiction. 7 hours into the flight, 2:18 a.m. over Eastern China, 3 hours from Hong Kong. The turbulence passes, cabin calms, passengers resettle. Thomas emerges from the cockpit, heads to the lavatory, returns, stops at the forward galley, looks at Zara. His face is hard, cold. I know what you're doing, filing reports every time you disagree with my decisions, documenting everything, playing investigator. It's not going to work. Zara meets his eyes, calm. I'm documenting safety concerns, Captain. That's my job. Your job is passenger service, not questioning command decisions. My job includes reporting observed violations, which I've done multiple times. Thomas steps closer, menacing. Those reports go nowhere. They mean nothing. They disappear because I make sure they disappear. How many times do I have to tell you you're wasting your time? Am I? Yes, you are, because even if you file 100 reports, they'll never reach anyone who matters. The system works for me, not for you. And when we land in Hong Kong, I'm writing you up for insubordination, for interfering with flight operations, for creating a hostile work environment. Your career with this airline is over. Zara doesn't flinch. That's your choice, Captain. I've documented everything you just said along with everything else, and I have witnesses and backups, multiple backups, cloud storage, email archives, regulatory databases, audio recordings, video evidence, timestamps that can't be altered. And here's what you don't understand. When you delete a file from the airline system, it doesn't disappear. It creates a deletion log with your user ID, with the timestamp, with the content that was deleted. So every report you've deleted, the CAA has records showing they were submitted and showing you deleted them. You haven't been covering your tracks. You've been creating evidence of tampering. Thomas's face goes white, then red. You're bluffing. Am I? Zara pulls out her phone, shows him her email draft, subject line visible, report of safety documentation tampering, flight 556, attachment count 27 files. This email is going to the Civil Aviation Authority the moment we land, maybe sooner. It contains every report I filed, every report you deleted, every recording of your threats, every witness statement, every timestamp, everything. And it's already backed up in 4 different locations. You can take my phone right now, won't matter. The evidence exists without it. Thomas stares at the screen. His hand twitches like he's considering grabbing the phone. Zara steps back. I wouldn't. That would be assault. And there are 12 passengers watching us right now and 6 crew members, all witnesses, all with phones. You want to add assault to document tampering? Thomas's jaw works. No words come out. He's trapped. He knows it. She sees the realization hit him. Everything he deleted still exists. Everything he threatened was recorded. Everything he thought he controlled is beyond his reach. He's been deleting visible evidence while invisible evidence multiplied. And now, 3 hours from landing, with investigators already notified, because Zara sent a preliminary alert yesterday, before the flight even departed, warning them to meet this specific flight. Thomas Blake realizes he's finished. He turns without a word, walks back to the cockpit, slams the door. Zara returns to her duties, checks passengers, smiles, professional. Inside, she's counting down. 2 hours, 53 minutes to Hong Kong, to landing, to investigators boarding, to Thomas facing the evidence he tried to delete, to justice, digital, undeniable, permanent. The cockpit goes silent. Thomas sits in his captain's seat, staring at instruments, not really seeing them, his mind racing, trying to calculate, how much does she have? How much can she prove? He deleted the reports. Clean deletions. Nobody tracks those, right? But she mentioned deletion logs, user IDs, timestamps. Is that real? Does the system actually log deletions? He's never checked, never thought about it. He assumed delete meant gone, erased, permanent. Now he's not sure, and that uncertainty is eating him alive. First Officer Rachel Morrison sits beside him. Quiet, she knows something happened, heard raised voices, sees Thomas's face, pale, stressed, hands gripping the yoke too tight. She says nothing, just monitors instruments, flies the plane, lets him spiral. Thomas pulls out his tablet, opens the airline safety reporting system, logs in, navigates to the admin section he's not supposed to access, uses credentials he obtained through a friend in IT. Searches for deletion logs, finds them. His stomach drops. Every deletion is recorded, date, time, user ID, report content, deletion reason required. He never filled those in, just clicked delete. Dozens of deletions, all his user ID, all reports filed by Zara Kim, all within the last 2 months, all without justification, all creating a perfect evidence trail showing systematic suppression of safety reports. He closes the tablet, breathing hard. She wasn't bluffing. She has everything. And he just made it worse by checking the logs. That access will be logged too. Unauthorized access to safety data, another violation. He's building his own case against himself. 8 hours into the flight, 3:18 a.m. GMT. 2 hours from Hong Kong. Zara sits in the crew rest area, opens her phone, reviews her draft email one final time, 27 attachments, 6 original safety reports with full text, 6 email confirmations proving submission, 6 deletion logs showing Thomas's user ID removing them, 3 audio recordings of his threats and confessions, 1 video of him using his tablet during taxi, witness statements from Rachel and 2 other flight attendants who've seen him delete reports, timeline documentation, weather reports proving the seatbelt sign violation, everything organized, professional, damning. She adds a final note. This email is being sent while Flight 556 is still airborne to ensure documentation is submitted before Captain Blake has opportunity to interfere with physical evidence or witnesses upon landing. All attached evidence has been verified for authenticity and is backed up in multiple secure locations. First Officer Morrison and 3 additional crew members available for confidential interviews upon request. She reviews the recipient list. UK Civil Aviation Authority Safety Investigation Division, Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department, her airline's Chief Pilot Office, her airline's Safety Management Director. 4 recipients, all regulatory or supervisory, all with authority to act. She adds 1 more. The International Air Transport Association's Safety Reporting Database, 5 recipients total, redundancy. If one doesn't act, others will. Her finger hovers over the send button. This is the moment. Once she sends this, there's no taking it back. Thomas's career is over, his reputation destroyed, his pilot license likely suspended, maybe permanently. She thinks about that, feels no guilt. He did this to himself. She gave him chances, multiple warnings. He chose to delete reports, threaten crew, violate procedures, tamper with safety documentation. She's not destroying his career. She's documenting the ways he destroyed it himself. She hits send. The email uploads. Confirmation appears. Sent 0324 GMT. Done. The evidence is now in regulatory hands, multiple regulatory hands. Thomas can't touch it, can't delete it, can't manipulate it. It exists beyond his reach, permanent, immutable, true. Zara closes her phone, returns to the main cabin, prepares for landing. 2 hours out, breakfast service soon. She moves through her duties with practiced calm, checking passengers, collecting trash, smiling, professional. Nobody would know she just ended a captain's career. Nobody except her and Thomas when he finds out. 1 hour from Hong Kong, 4:24 a.m. local time. Dawn breaking over the South China Sea. The 777 begins descent. Thomas handles it mechanically. Silent. Rachel manages communications. Approach clearance received. Landing runway 07L. Weather clear. Wind calm. Perfect conditions for landing. Nothing perfect about what's waiting at the gate. Zara receives a message on her crew phone from the airline's Hong Kong ground operations manager. Zara, CAA investigators will board immediately upon arrival. Please remain on aircraft with First Officer Morrison and any crew members who witnessed reported incidents. Captain Blake will be asked to remain in cockpit until investigators arrive. This is standard procedure for safety investigation. Thank you for your cooperation. So it's happening. They received her email. They're responding fast. That's good. That means they take it seriously. She shows the message to Rachel during a quiet moment. Rachel reads it, nods, relief and fear mixed on her face. Will they protect my identity? Yes, the CAA has confidential witness protocols. Your statements will be documented, but your name can be withheld from any public reports if you request it. I request it. I'll make sure they know. The 777 descends through 10,000 feet. Hong Kong appears ahead. City lights, harbor, mountains, the massive airport on reclaimed land. Final approach begins. Landing gear extends. Flaps down. The aircraft descends smoothly. Crosses the threshold. Touchdown. Gentle. Professional. Thomas can still fly. He just can't lead, can't manage, can't respect. But he can fly. That almost makes it sadder. Taxi in gate C34, the 777 pulls up to the jet bridge. Engines shut down, passengers applaud. Standard. They don't know what's coming. Thomas sits in the cockpit, not moving, just staring ahead. Rachel is shutting down systems, following checklists, professional. The moment is surreal, normal procedure overlaid with catastrophic consequences. A knock on the cockpit door. Zara opens it. Two men in suits, Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department badges visible. Behind them, two more officials, British accent, UKCAA. They flew out specifically for this. That's how serious it is. The lead investigator speaks, British, 50s, professional. Captain Blake, I'm Inspector David Chen from the Hong Kong CAA. These are my colleagues from the UK Civil Aviation Authority. We need you to remain in the cockpit while we interview crew members. This is a standard safety investigation procedure. Do you understand? Thomas nods. Can't speak. His throat is closed. Inspector Chen turns to Zara. Ms. Kim, please come with us. First Officer Morrison. You as well will use the forward galley for initial interviews. They move to the galley, close the curtain, passengers are still disembarking, nobody notices. The investigators pull out tablets, recording equipment, professional, thorough. Ms. Kim, we received your email at 3:24 GMT. We've reviewed all attached documentation. We need you to walk us through everything, from the beginning. Zara does. Chronologically, factually, no emotion, just timeline. First report filed 6 weeks ago. Disappeared within 2 days. Second report, same pattern. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all deleted. Thomas's threats 2 hours into tonight's flight. His confession that he makes reports disappear. His tablet used during taxi and cruise to access safety systems. The turbulence incident. The final confrontation 3 hours ago. Everything documented, everything time-stamped, everything backed up. The investigators take notes, ask clarifying questions, professional, impressed. One of them, a woman from UKCAA, speaks. Ms. Kim, this is some of the most thorough documentation we've ever received in a safety investigation. The timestamps, the redundant backups, the witness statements, the audio recordings. This is textbook evidence preservation. Where did you learn this? I studied computer science before becoming a flight attendant, and I grew up in the digital age. I know how data works, how to preserve it, how to make it immutable. Well, you've done an exceptional job. This case is airtight. We have everything we need. They interview Rachel next. She's nervous, shaking, but she tells the truth, confirms everything. Yes, she saw Thomas delete reports multiple times, multiple flights. Yes, she heard him threaten Zara. Yes, he turned off the seatbelt sign prematurely tonight. Yes, he created hostile work environment. Yes, she'll provide formal statement. Yes, she requests confidentiality. They assure her, guarantee it, thank her for her courage. They interview 2 other flight attendants who witnessed Thomas's behavior. Similar statements, consistent, corroborating. The evidence builds, multiplies, undeniable. Finally, they call Thomas from the cockpit. He walks out, pale, exhausted, defeated. Inspector Chen speaks. Captain Blake, we've received credible allegations of safety documentation tampering, crew intimidation, and procedural violations. Specifically, we have evidence that you systematically deleted safety reports filed by crew members, accessed safety databases without authorization, threatened crew members who filed reports, and violated multiple operational procedures during this flight. Do you wish to make a statement? Thomas looks at them, at Zara standing nearby, at Rachel, at the other crew members, everyone watching, everyone knowing. His voice is barely audible. I'd like to speak with my union representative before making any statement. That's your right. However, I'm informing you now that your pilot license is suspended effective immediately pending investigation. You are not authorized to operate any aircraft until this investigation concludes and a determination is made. Your airline will be notified. You are to remain available for questioning. Do you understand? Thomas nods, whispers, yes. You're free to go. We'll be in contact. Thomas walks off the aircraft, through the jet bridge, into the terminal, alone, no crew, no passengers, just him and the wreckage of his career. 22 years of flying, gone, because he couldn't respect a flight attendant, because he thought delete buttons worked, because he chose pride over safety. 3 months later, Thomas Blake sits in a conference room at the UK Civil Aviation Authority headquarters in London. Across from him, Chief Inspector, Safety Director, Legal Counsel. The investigation report is complete. 147 pages. Findings are exhaustive. Captain Blake systematically deleted 63 safety reports over 18 months from 16 different crew members, used unauthorized access credentials to suppress complaints, created hostile work environment, retaliated against reporting crew members through scheduling manipulation and negative evaluations, violated operational procedures on multiple occasions, endangered passengers through premature seatbelt sign deactivation, interfered with first officers' legitimate safety concerns. The evidence is overwhelming. 27 crew members came forward after Zara's report made headlines. Stories from years of Thomas's command, pattern of abuse, pattern of suppression, pattern of putting pride over safety. The chief inspector speaks. Captain Blake, based on investigation findings, your pilot license is revoked permanently. You may not reapply. Additionally, the Crown Prosecution Service is considering criminal charges for evidence tampering and computer misuse under the Computer Misuse Act, 1990. You will be notified of their decision. Your airline has terminated your employment. You have the right to appeal this license revocation, but I'll be frank. The evidence against you is overwhelming. I've never seen a more thoroughly documented case of systematic safety system abuse. That documentation comes primarily from Ms. Zara Kim, who demonstrated exceptional professionalism and technical competence throughout your attempts to silence her. Thomas has nothing to say, no defense, no excuse. He signs the acknowledgement forms, leaves the building, no longer a pilot, no longer employed, no longer certain of his future. He returns to his flat, smaller now, cheaper, can't afford his old place, sits on the couch, looks at his logbook, 22 years, 15,000 flight hours, 3 continents, dozens of countries, all meaningless now because he deleted files, because he underestimated a 27-year-old flight attendant who knew more about digital evidence than he knew about respecting crew. Meanwhile, Zara Kim stands in the airline's London headquarters, conference room, different atmosphere, celebratory, appreciative, present, chief pilot, director of safety, HR director, CEO sends video message. Miss Kim, your actions on Flight 556 and your documentation of systematic safety violations represent the highest standards of aviation professionalism. You protected the integrity of our safety reporting system. You protected future crew members from intimidation. You protected passengers from a captain who put ego over procedures. Effective immediately, you are promoted to Safety Compliance Manager, Cabin Crew Division. Your responsibilities will include training crew members on safety reporting procedures, documenting evidence properly, and ensuring no crew member ever fears retaliation for speaking up. You will also serve as liaison between cabin crew and our safety investigation team. Congratulations! The room applauds. Zara smiles. Humble, professional. Thank you. I just did what needed to be done. What anyone should do when they see safety systems being compromised. The chief pilot speaks. Not anyone would have documented it so thoroughly. Not anyone would have stood up to a captain with 22 years' experience. Not anyone would have had the technical knowledge to preserve evidence properly. You're exceptional, and we're lucky to have you. Zara's new office is on the 4th floor, windows overlooking Heathrow, computer setup with 3 monitors, access to all safety databases, direct reporting line to the safety director. She designs a new training program, Digital Evidence Preservation for Cabin Crew. Teaches flight attendants how to document concerns, how to use cloud storage, how to create immutable timestamps, how to preserve audio and video, how to protect themselves from retaliation. The program becomes mandatory, industry-wide. Other airlines adopt it. IATA includes it in their safety management guidelines. First Officer Rachel Morrison was promoted to captain 6 months after the investigation concluded. Different fleet. 787 Dreamliner, fresh start. She visits Zara sometimes, brings coffee, talks about flying. You saved my career. If Flight 556 had ended differently, if something had happened because of his shortcuts, I'd be done too. You spoke up when I couldn't, thank you. Zara smiles. You spoke up too. Your witness statement was critical. You had courage when it mattered. Only because you showed me it was possible to stand up to him, to someone with that much power. You made me believe the system could work. The passengers from Flight 556 never knew how close they came to disaster, never knew their seatbelt sign was off during dangerous turbulence, never knew their captain was deleting safety reports instead of reading weather data, never knew a 27-year-old flight attendant's documentation probably prevented future accidents. But the aviation industry knows. The investigation report circulated widely, case studies written, academic papers published. The Flight 556 case, how digital evidence preservation prevented systematic safety system failure. Zara received the UK Civil Aviation Authority's Safety Award, the International Air Transport Association's Distinguished Service Medal, her airline's highest honor. She keeps the plaques in her office, next to her computer science degree, next to a framed screenshot of the email she sent at 3:24 GMT on Flight 556, subject line, Report of Safety Documentation Tampering, the email that changed everything. And somewhere in London, Thomas Blake works as a ground school instructor, private pilot theory, basic navigation, flight rules. He teaches people how to become pilots. He will never be one again. Every student who Googles his name finds the investigation report, finds news articles. Captain's license permanently revoked after systematic safety report tampering. Some students drop his classes. Others stay, ask questions. What happened? He tells them the truth. I thought I was smarter than the system. I thought delete buttons worked. I thought a young flight attendant couldn't touch me. I was wrong on all counts, and it cost me everything. He doesn't teach with bitterness, teaches with warning. Never underestimate anyone. Never think rank protects you from consequences. Never delete evidence. It doesn't disappear. It multiplies. And never ever dismiss someone who documents properly. In 2026, documentation is power, and the person with the best documentation wins, always. The aviation industry changed after Flight 556. New regulations implemented. Safety report deletion requires written justification reviewed by independent committee. Crew members can submit reports directly to regulatory authorities without airline filtering. Anonymous reporting systems expanded, retaliation protection strengthened, digital evidence preservation training mandatory. The changes stemmed from one flight, one captain's arrogance, one flight attendant's competence. Zara sometimes thinks about that night over the Alps, about Thomas threatening her in the galley, about his words, "Your little complaints mean nothing. They go nowhere. They disappear." She doesn't feel vindictive, feels sad for him. He could have been good. He had skills, experience, knowledge. He just didn't have wisdom, didn't have respect, didn't understand that in the modern world, information is permanent. Cloud storage is forever. Screenshots are reflexive, and attempting to hide the truth only creates more evidence of the attempt. The lesson is simple. The lesson is universal. Delete buttons are theater. Evidence is permanent. And in aviation, where safety depends on reporting, where lives depend on honesty, where systems depend on transparency, anyone who tries to suppress the truth will be buried by it. Captain Thomas Blake tried to delete his way out of accountability. He created an evidence trail that destroyed him. And Zara Kim, 27 years old, 5 years as a flight attendant, taught the entire aviation industry that the digital generation doesn't lose data. They multiply it, they preserve it, they use it to ensure justice. Somewhere today, a captain is deleting a safety report, thinking nobody will notice, thinking it's gone. They're wrong. Someone will notice, someone will screenshot, someone will back up, someone will preserve the evidence. And somewhere today, a young crew member with a smartphone and cloud storage is documenting everything, building a case, waiting for the right moment, learning from Zara Kim that courage plus documentation equals change. Never underestimate the person with the phone. Never dismiss the crew member who documents. Never think delete means gone. Because in 2026, nothing digital dies. It just waits in the cloud for the moment when truth matters more than rank, when evidence speaks louder than authority, when a 27-year-old flight attendant's thorough documentation brings down a 22-year captain's empire of suppression, and the sky becomes a little bit safer because someone refused to let the truth disappear.